you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
What is going on, Michael Pinozzo, sir? How are you?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Have you gotten all your Christmas shopping done?
Hey, kidding me? Amazon, baby.
Have you started? Amazon? Yeah. Swipe.
No, I'm really lucky. My wife does 98% of the shopping, and all I have to do is get her stuff and a couple of grab gifts.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So, and I've done all that, and I am good to go. Yeah,
So you got it made in the shade. So whenever like somebody's opening up a present from y'all, you're just as intrigued and surprised as they are.
Yeah. I'm always like, what did we get? What did we get you?
Yeah, you're on the edge of your seat. I like that. I like that strategy, buddy.
Then I look at my wife and think, wow, what'd you spend on that?
Yeah, okay. Of course. Yeah. That's naturally where it goes. And then she just gives you like side eye, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for actually luckily I got all mine done for the girls, thankfully. And it's always about like just trying to obviously stay budget friendly, which is impossible with young girls.
Tough.
Yeah, but then like it's all about getting quantity over quality. And I know that sounds a little odd, but
no, absolutely. I mean, the more presents they can rip open, the happier they are.
Yeah.
If all you got them was a card, they wouldn't be impressed at all.
No. And I could spend more on like a gift card and a card, and they wouldn't be impressed considering, or like versus the amount of gifts I get them. But so I went to Vietnam like 2 years ago, right? And it was right around October, right before, and I went dead off, Mike, like because everything was so cheap over there. I was like, I got to get the girls stuff, So, but where I messed up was that I told them I got them stuff, so it's like end of October, November. And I'm not even joking. I came home with a duffel bag, like my traveling size duffel bag. I bought an extra one. Still was stealing, including like paying extra bag fees and all that. And so I filled the thing up full of toys, stayed underneath 50 pounds or whatever it was. And where I messed up was telling them, because then they got to open it in November. And then I still had to go fucking shopping again in December.
Why did you let them open it in November? What's the matter with you?
It was the worst mistake of my life, Mike. I've never recovered.
Man, I would have gone and rented a storage unit and just kept the stuff in a storage unit.
I'm telling you.
Someplace.
2 years later, I'm still not over it, clearly, buddy.
Yeah,
but
you got outplayed on that one.
For sure. Oh, I'm drawing dead for sure. But speaking of drawing dead, Mike, they're announcing Mosconi Cup information today. I saw. So
ticket sales
yeah, I saw that. So give me your thoughts before we jump into captaincy as to them announcing ticket sales.
Here's
already.
my initial thought. My initial thought is U.S. fans should tell them we'll buy tickets as soon as we know who the captains are.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Leverage. Yeah. It's all about leverage.
Yeah.
And then they posted, tongue-in-cheek, resumes being sent in for captain for both Europe and U.S., and which I immediately submitted one for.
But they actually put their email address on there, so they're getting inundated with resumes at this point. They
were already getting inundated by the people who really want it. So this is nothing new. But according to my sources at Matchroom, I'm right at the top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, clearly a Hall of Famer, Homer, check.
Winning captain from the first Mosconi Cup ever.
Sure. Yeah. 1776, baby. Let's go. Red, white, and blue, like over my shoulder here.
We started the trend.
I didn't realize, like when I went to my first Mosconi Cup in Bally's, I didn't realize how much of a troll Mike really was until I was in the stands sweating it. And I don't remember what the going chant was that was started or should have been started or whatever, but Mike was just full blown. I mean, yelling, he was it was like one of those belly, like letting it out. You know what I mean?
It's taken years to get to that point. For the first 15, 20 years of the Mosconi Cup, I was pretty, neutral. I was Switzerland.
Yeah.
And then, as I've gotten older, it's like, what do I care? Let's go.
Yeah. I think like in my heart of hearts, I love rooting for underdogs, like as most people do, and love redemption stories and all those things, especially like just loving sports in general, Mike. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
nothing better for that for me. Like the comeback last night in the fourth quarter was just nuts. You know what I mean? Like I love those comebacks. And at the time you think, okay, there's like whatever 8 minutes left, this game's over with, they're 16, you know what I mean? But all it takes is one gaffy play and then the wheels come off and then there you
Oh,
go. Now you're parlayed into overtime, you know what I mean? But
it's as gaffy a play as you can get right there.
that 2 point,
Two-point
yeah,
conversion, that was
yeah,
just,
never in
it's
my
just
life.
yeah.
Lateral should not be backwards, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I didn't have a horse in the race.
That's what lateral is. It's
No, well, but I mean, like, it wasn't a backward pass, is what I'm saying. It wasn't necessarily a forward pass, but it wasn't a backward pass either. I think the argument was,
it was like a foot backwards, which makes it,
look,
and the thing is that it was blocked by the defender.
yeah, I
It
know.
wasn't even dropped by the receiver. A lot of times they'll throw a lateral pass and the receiver will drop and everybody will pile on it. This one was blocked by the defender at the line, and so everybody just kind of gave up on it.
Yeah,
And the one guy was smart enough to at least pick it up and stand in the end zone. And because if a ram had jumped on it, game over.
well,
So
he was gonna get lit up had he caught that ball. That was the crazy part. That was the crazy part about it. It's like it's almost like the pool saying, "Man, I hit it too good." You know what I mean? Like he played too good a defense in that one. Did the defender? You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
um,
wild stuff. Well, this is a great weekend for football. Between that last night rolling into
yeah,
college, the college final games starting this weekend,
tonight,
pro games on
tonight,
top of it, and so yeah,
It-
this is gonna be from now till Monday football. It's gonna be football heaven.
dude. Alabama and Oklahoma. I'm excited for that game. A little bit of revenge. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I think
um,
Alabama's gonna roll them, but
well, I grew up. I got a lot of my heart's in Alabama growing up over there during the summer with my dad. So I've always been a Crimson Tide fan. I don't, it was like every summer we were always there in Birmingham. So pre Saban, but I was glad when Saban was there. I'm not gonna lie, But either way, no, it's just a great weekend of sports. And if you're watching pool, there's also
yeah, a
obviously
lot going on.
all the
Yeah.
stuff in Jacksonville already. But Mike, before we hop into that, because I really want to dive into the Women's World Championship, even more update on some matches. They also got the doubles and the men's. But on finishing up on the Mosconi Cup and the captaincy search, where do you think it'll realistically land on the European and on the American side?
I think that if I had to guess, I would say that they would allow Jason to continue to be the European captain if he and the European players wanted that, and I would say that they would be suicidal to not get a non-playing captain for the U.S. And so who that's going to be, who knows? But the other side of it is, we know Mantrum, we know Emily. I don't expect any of this to happen anytime before the summer. Don't even. I would doubt that very much.
That seems counterproductive then. Like as far as like
Uh, you know, it,
what the genuine goal ought to be, in my opinion, anyway.
yeah, it depends on
On
Um,
the
they,
American side of things, not on
well,
the.
listen, they've got their hands full with a lot of stuff. So if they have something that they know they want to do in the bank, they know who they want to pick,
Yeah.
and they've got some kind of provisions for allowing that person to get a 6 months, 8 month running start with the team. Then it's possible they can pull the trigger. I just don't see them being proactive in that capacity.
Look, the reason why part of the reason why it was watered down this year was because they had a lot going on too, Mike. So like if you want to continue to stand on this pedestal of this is our premier event, right? This is the flagship. These are all these things. It's like, well, then you have to put forth a different effort compared to last year. And clearly the rinse and repeat method of just posting on social media and getting everyone to show up didn't necessarily work, at least for the first 2 days out there in uh there in the UK, So I'm hopeful that it'll sell out, but I think they have to go with a different approach, and I like obviously the safe money bet would be that it'd be post May, but I'm hopeful that it would be pre, so that way they could get in. And I don't know where it's going to land either. I'd imagine the Jason one just makes the most sense to me because if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I'd imagine
He's built for that. They don't need to find anybody to do
yeah.
anything for him. So
And
just leave that alone.
yeah, and he can be the face during the press conference. He can be the shit talker. He can be the guy managing lineups, managing personalities. And the good thing is, if you're Matchroom, and if he does fall short in any one of those categories, it's good for them because then it makes the U.S. more competitive. That's a byproduct of it. So where the players on the American side just have to be all business, all focus, have to be competing from the beginning of the year, and so I hope that an American captain gets named sooner than later. I'd imagine, like on the budget side of things, to me anyway, I would guess that Scott Frost will probably be close to the top of the list because he's in their camp. They like hiring from within. Now, whether or not I feel like it'd be a good fit for the end cause is a different conversation. But I would say that's the early season favorite, in my opinion, would be Scott. So he's obviously shown an interest in it. Got a relationship with some of the players, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing is a different conversation. And so that's where I would go. But I would hope that it would be in my head would hope that it would be like obviously a Johan or a Lele, whatever. You know what I mean? In that same.
Well, and here's the thing: to me, if they have, they've got Dennis Hatch in there in the mix already too. Yep. So if you've got 4 or 5 guys that if they had someone in mind right now, or say, here's what we're going to do, then I could see them announce it now. If there's 4 or 5 possibilities and they have to sit down and weigh them and examine them and look at resumes and all that stuff, then I don't see them getting to it until at least July.
Yeah. What did you make of like those qualifications? Hype up the crowd. I mean, it sounded like they were.
That was all paired. That was all tongue in cheek. That was all just have some fun with it. Whatever. They're not, they're not going to call up, Dennis Hatch and say, "How good are you at getting the crowd in a lather?" But and listen, these guys already know what the atmosphere is like and what the home atmosphere is supposed to be like. You're not telling them anything they already know. So that was just something to have fun and game because there was so much post Mosconi Cup conversation about captains and how to play it going forward, whatever. So they thought, well, let's just chime in and let everybody have at it. So
yeah, having some fun within the chaos and the circus of it all.
But then don't drop it until July. That's my thought. Don't do this now and then say, let it collect dust for 6 months.
Yeah, the number one thing that I really want to that I think that will end up happening is that if you announce one early, is that the American players, at least for the last 2+ years, haven't necessarily been competing. There's been a lot of comfort there as far as them knowing where they're going to be at. Obviously, Tyler was one in question throughout the season, having to go and make sure that he earns it off of points, which he has the last couple of years, but outside of that, that's really the only, and the 5th spot, that was really the only, where's the standings going to finish? You know what I mean? But I want beginning to end urgency and competition and feeling like you're under the microscope.
I think you do to a certain extent for 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think, I think for sure now it's 3, 4, and 5.
Guy's guaranteed to be a points guy. So if
players last few years he hasn't been. Yeah.
So if you're looking to get in there and really take some swings, then 3, 4, and the last automatic spot and the 2 wildcard spots are up for grabs.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what that looks like going forward.
I want them to earn it. Go and work for it. Is what I want. Obviously, you can guarantee to see SVB out there for number 20. He'll probably has a great chance. Not probably, he has a great chance of making it in on points just because skill level wise, he's above and beyond anybody else out, not named Federer. And Federer we fully expect to be there, whether he's on points or otherwise. But I would obviously love his chance to get in the top 2 at the very least. You know what I mean? If not being number 1 overall, despite the bit of a slide over the last 6 months, and it's just it's not to say I'm going to think he's going to go and bounce back and snap everything off this year. I just think that competitively in the American scheme of things, he's just, he's in his own stratosphere.
Yeah.
Is that dude? So. All right, Mike. Let's hop into the events going on in Jacksonville. Starting with what do you want to do? Are we doing doubles first? Is that where we're going with
Men's.
this?
Let's go men's.
Men's?
Where I just saw that Landon Hollingsworth went down to batter Alawadi in 3 sets, which is too bad. So they're in the last 32 now. So it's just real quick. I want to reply to Nate. Kind of thing of the cost of travel. WNT US Tour for sure, but I mean you basically do have that now. It's just I like that idea, but do you tally points separately, right? So it can't be you can't use those points to do it, because if someone does well in the US WNT tournaments, regional and majors, but doesn't play overseas, and then someone goes overseas like a Shane or a Tyler or whatever and finishes second or third in the Hanoi Open or whatever it is, you're trying to tell me those points aren't going to count for his getting on the US Mosconi Cup team? That doesn't make any sense. So,
but here's the other side of that conversation, Mike, is that, like, not for nothing, but historically speaking, and I think it'll continue to be that way as events open up more in Europe and in Asia, like, it's softer here in the US. And when you go out there and you're playing in the Mosconi Cup, you're not playing against soft competition like you would be playing in a regional American tournament. The Seattle Open is not going to have the same level of competition. So, like, in other words, like, I would value let's just say from a finish standpoint, right? I would value let's say a top 8 or a top 4 in Taiwan versus a top 8 or a top 4 in Seattle. Just from
for sure, yeah. So, but I do like the idea of having more WNT US events, and Barry and Emily both hinted to that as far as increasing presence in the U.S. So maybe there'll be more open events here, not just, let's make all the regional events count more.
Sure.
So, there's that thing. But yeah, there has to be more here so these guys aren't all traveling around the world for every point. By the same token, I don't know, everybody from the other countries are traveling all around the world for the points. So I understand it costs a lot, but, it's costing a lot for Asian players and European players too. So, it's how bad do you want it, and how do you put those nickels and dimes together? So, a lot of different ideas out there. I understand what Nate's talking about, and you would hope that Matchroom is sitting there, trying to work out ways to help the U.S. develop talent, like they say they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then how to make sure that you're equitable in rewarding that effort and those talent and those points.
And I think part of it has to be with just completely overhauling the ranking system in general, because you can't, given the fact that the World Championship is so different than anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like it's like
World Championship affects points for Team Asia and Team Europe. the World Championship.
Oh yeah. But I mean, and it also did for the Americans as well. I mean, obviously Federer was sitting at number 1 because of his World Championship and the U.S. Open. The two biggest.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. But like I said, you're
which would have been the case.
Not worried about Federer not making the team anyway. So
right.
So that's kind of a that's a given. So, but aside from that, you're not getting a lot of huge point scores by U.S. players in the World Championship recently, anyways.
Yeah, because then I would say, well, no, actually, I wouldn't say that now that I think about it, but it's like Federer's already a foregone conclusion, So like I would just say he's going to be our wild card, and then have 3 guys go and earn it on points, because I think it's that much of it's already an automatic. You know what I mean? No one's going to leave him off the team. Nobody.
You could theoretically do that. Matchroom could say we're naming the captains today, and the captains are allowed to pick 1 wild card right now, and then the rest, everybody else fights for the 3 points and 1 extra wild card. Do stuff like that. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah. I think it's there's got to be a twist here and obviously something different.
It's almost the same as just saying the top 4 are going to be points instead of the top 3. But
yeah.
Europe would pick Filler, and he'd probably be their top point guy anyway. So you go either way on that. But doing it the one way sounds like it'd be more kind of fun.
It'd make for a better year-long sweat, that's for sure. Yeah. Because as it stands right now, it's just a little, it's a bit anticlimactic. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I'm getting a call.
Well, the bad thing with coming out with a good idea, Mike, is Matchroom won't use them because they would never admit to using someone else's good idea.
That's the funny part. Like, that's a different twist that is so funny because, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, from them, I get it
too.
They wanted to have their own flavor and their own stamp, and they don't want to be like. And this is where whenever we have the conversation as far as the Pro Beard Series, that type of format being good for and being able to, I don't want to say handicap Americans, but to really kind of, it's good in the sense it's short races, right? So it's very Mosconi-esque. But they'll never would want to incorporate it, 1, because it's 10 ball, 2, because it's Predator, and 3, because it's not their idea, So it's that's the almost the brutal part of it all. But I think fundamentally, this is the closest thing you can get to being able to measure guys in a short, intense, as close to Mosconi Cup. Obviously, you're not getting the crowd, you're not getting any of those things there, right? But fundamentally speaking, I feel like it's as close as we got to it. You know what I mean? So, but for the record, I do not want to see spot shots into the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, it looks like Donnie Mills just failed his spot shot test.
Well, Donnie, I was rooting for you to make Team USA.
Yeah,
there goes that chance, my man.
It was 1-1 in sets. He was up 3-1 in the third set. Then Arseni tied it up.
Was he really? I didn't even see it. Let me see. Hold on.
Arseni tied it up and beat him in the shootout. So that's too bad. So there a lot of Americans went down here in this round of 32. Landon Hollingsworth, Bride, Donnie Mills.
Blaine Marcus making a comeback too on the PBS. Yeah.
Marcus.
Tyler was up 1 set over Georgie. It looks like it's 1-1 now with Georgie up in the second set. A lot of really good matchups here, Mike, in this part. And this is winner go home. This is winner go home at this point, right, Mike? This is the last 32.
Yeah, Darren's fighting his way here. Look at that.
John Mora defeats Lucas. Jason defeats Mario. Yap winning. Darren 1-1. Stefan Kasper's is he's like this last 6 months Arseni, as far as just being a bracket buster and not knowing who he was, at least on the American side of things,
Marco Teutcher 2-0 on Jesus Atencio.
Look, on paper, that may look like an upset, Mike, but I'm super high on Marco's game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I was super high on Jesus too, and he lost 1-0. It was like
yeah.
He got rolled.
If I'm looking for a European who can beat any top player, as far as not what I would consider an A1 talent, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Marco's at the top of that list. You know what I mean? It's he would be my first. Yeah. He's super. He is super tough to beat, man. Is that guy? I got a lot of respect for his game. The last 16, Mike, looking at here, 4, 2, 4, 6. So this is not, obviously they're still waiting on some matchups here. Yap and Shaw at the bottom. That's going to be a juicy one. Let's browse through. Let's browse through these first 4 matches up top, Mike. You got Kazakis versus Capito, Conrad against Marco, Bader against Alex Montpellier, and then Arseni against Albin. Who do you got there through the last 16 up top? Whoops.
Alex.
Clearly, right? Let me see if I can. How the hell can I take this thing off here?
No, I was saying Alex Kazakis, not.
We can switch this off here for a second. Alex Kazakis coming out of all 4 matches up top, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah. Robbie plays tough in this format, though, Mike.
So does Alex. Alex is a good PBS player.
He is, yeah, no doubt. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this shit back up and fixed here. Hang tight for me. I think Albin's going to be a bit of a sleeper too. Obviously, Alex will coming off of back-to-back world championship finishes, and his like comfort level out there is going to be highly favored for me, Mike.
Yeah.
But again, you still got Marco in that top spot. Bader's been like quietly doing some damage over the last couple of months, just on the WPA side of things as well. And then, of course, like I said, Albin down there at the bottom. But I'm with you. I think either way, I like it coming out of the top two matches for sure. And really, if I were to go and rank those players, I'd probably go. No, I'm not even going to do that because that's too tough to handicap. There's tough four guys there, Mike. Any one of them you can realistically make make an argument for. So, I think I'm going to go with my boy Albin though. I think that's where I'm going to go. Down below, Mike, you got Victor and Jeff Filler against Mora, winner of 157 and 158. So we got the Tyler and Georgie and Stefan and Darren. That's tough. That's tough to call right there in and of itself. And then down below, the biggest one for me, Mike, is that Yap versus Jason Shaw. Who do you like there, Mike?
How many times have you talked about Jason Shaw's nice draws when it got down to the final 32, final 16?
Yeah, it's brutal, man. I mean, like look, I hate guys that make excuses, Mike. Like, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of pool players with no shortage of excuses.
Jason's never made that excuse. We're making it for him.
No, he has before. I've talked to him before plenty of times, at least like at events, But he's got a legitimate leg to stand on for the most part, Like he does get some brutal draws. I mean, don't listen. It could be a lot more cupcake, where you're facing, no disrespect, but a Stefan Casper or a Tyler Starr or Georgie or any of these other guys. You know what I mean? Like, and so he has not had the roll of the ball, as they say. Jeff and Victor, I'm going to go with Victor in that one, although Jeff has got that Filipino heart. I think Moore's got no chance against Josh. She looked absolutely pinpoint and razor sharp, Mike, that I've seen. Obviously, he's going to have that intimidation factor as well. Yeah. And he's hitting that Josh gear that we saw at the beginning of the year, in my opinion, Mike. The Yap and Jason one. Yap's had a phenomenal year, Mike. I think it continues in this event, to be honest with you. And when I look at the class of players in this final 16 in general, to me, it's Yap number one and it's Josh number two. And then from there, it's like you're really going to have to earn it. Yap is too steady, too dominating, too successful, and he plays all like he never scrambles. Does Yap? You know what I mean? Like he's never trying for the home run. He's just fine with grinding you down. I like him playing from ahead or playing from behind. It's like it's a little obvious going with the obvious pick here, Mike. But Yap is just I don't think anybody beats him. I don't think anybody beats him, and I don't think Jason beats him in that round, and I don't think anybody beats him in this tournament, Mike. I think he's going to snap this thing off.
One thing we're saying is that the top half of that bracket is playing for second place because you either got Josh or Yap coming out of the bottom based on the way we look at it. It's going to be some good tests. I mean, the short races, and it's only 3 sets. They're not extending it to 5 sets. So it's got a lot of crapshoot to it still too.
What do you make of? So whenever we were, I'm going to transition over to the mixed doubles. But whenever we were talking about this event before, Mike, and I mentioned looking at the mixed doubles, and I saw the Stiers had pulled up out of the mixed doubles. Do you know why that they forfeited at that one, Mike? Because I know the schedule is a bit chaotic. You know what I mean? Like
what they did was I think that they had talked ahead of time and said as long as we're still in the winners bracket, we'll play. But when we get to the losers bracket, he wanted Margaret to focus most on the world nineball. It's a world championship, right? So, if you looked at someone like Sophia yesterday, she played her first round match in the world championship, had to run and play doubles, had to come back and play another singles in the second round of the world championship, then had to play another doubles. Now she's coming back and playing today. So, in Savannah, it was the same thing for her. And these are young kids who, would play pool 26 hours a day if there was 2 hours
I've
after.
seen them. I've
But
seen them.
Savannah said this morning she was beat. She was exhausted because it's not only, if you're playing in a pool room and you're practicing, playing with some friends, whatever, yeah, you could play for 12 hours because you're not expending any mental energy,
Sure.
right? But you get into
Which
this,
is a realistic thing, Mike. It's a real
right,
deal thing.
it takes a lot out of you. So you get into this tournament, which is, a real, high intensity short races, and it's a world championship. It takes a lot out of you. I guarantee you that match that Sophia had against Jasmine yesterday took a lot out of her, and they end up losing their doubles match after that. I have no idea whether it played into that or not, but it's a lot to ask. So for the Steyers to say, listen, if we get knocked to the loser side, I'd rather have you focus on the Women's World Nineball Championship because it's more important, all that stuff. And so they pulled up stakes. And I was watching the other women who were favorites in the World Nineball to see how they were doing negotiating both ends of it. And I'm not saying a thing sideways here at all, but the fillers go out and lose 2-0, 4-0, 4-0 in their next match after the Women's World Nineball started. So it was probably the best thing that happened to them for both of them playing in the singles. Now you think that you'd rather learn how to play the tables better and get used to the tables. And in truth, Margaret went out and lost her first match. So that pulling out didn't really help her.
But whenever we were messaging, that is how I felt from the beginning. Like that was my gut reaction. Now, since I've had time to let it like kind of simmer a little bit, I think it's twofold. One, I feel like in any other tournament, right? Like I'm going in ready to get grinded down. Like in any other event, PBS event of the year, it's like, okay, we're showing up ready to grind, ready to play, ready to get comfortable, and ready to just break it down to build it back up. But in this instance, because whenever I talk to you and you mentioned you hit them up and what they were saying as far as focusing on the world championships, which I get, I kind of took a different approach where I understand that because it is so special to me and to them obviously as well, and it should be. And so wanting to be mentally fresh and give that like the most of your effort, I understand that part of it as well.
Yeah.
It just the only reason why I initially took that reaction, and I mentioned this to you whenever we are going back and forth yesterday in text messages, was because when I saw the Steyers play in their doubles, and I forgot who it was against, but I just remember seeing a rack where they were like noticeably coming up short on position, and so to me, obviously getting familiarized and comfortable on the conditions, playing in Wisconsin, practicing playing at this pool room or this person's house or whatever is not going to get you as ready as opposed to playing on the equipment. And it's not like you're playing at an ultimate pool event where there's 100 tables, right? Like there's not very many practice tables out there, I'd imagine anyway, because that's historically, it's just not the way that it goes out there.
You got a lot of tournaments going on, so they're using all the tables, I'm sure. No, I understand that, but you can't like pick and choose and say, okay, we'll go ahead and play the next round because we want to get you used to the tables. So there comes a point at which, to me, you have a responsibility to the event you're playing in and the opponents you're playing against.
And what's more valuable to you?
And so it's, I don't like anybody pulling out. Anyway, if you thought that was going to be the case, then you probably shouldn't have played to start with because it's not really fair to other competitors. It's not really fair to, hand over a match to someone in your next round when their next opponents are playing each other and beating each other up. So there's some ethical edge to that part of it too.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's their money at the end of the day, so it's their money. And on top of that, I mean, I'm going to say this, but like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but their opponents who the Steyers would have had in the next match, they did them a favor because I didn't think they had a chance at beating Tyler and Margaret, and so, like that was so, and I get how it can be shitty to some people on the, depending on the situation. In this instance, though, I felt like they got a bit of like, it was good for them. You know what I'm saying? So, because I wouldn't have fancied their chances, and I would have bet on Tyler and
I
Martin.
just don't like the idea of going into a tournament knowing that you might just pull out.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. Because then yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyhow, Mike, you got the quarterfinals of the doubles going on tonight at 7:30 p.m. Two players from Taiwan, Huang and Sun, against the Oceans. You got Fisher and Kazakis versus Chow and Conrad. Who do you like coming out of up top, Mike?
Fisher and Kazakis, they play really well together. They have really good chemistry.
You're just team Alex this week, ain't you?
Well, I've seen this format, this tournament. They're in the semifinal or final every time they have one of these mixed double tournaments.
They really are.
If not, winning it. So why would I pick against them? I mean, it's like,
look, they check off a lot of boxes, Mike. Chemistry, trust, current form, comfortability out there as well. So but Chow's a monster. Conrad, I'm not sure how that doubles pairing has gone to this point. Obviously,
which Chow is this? This is Rita Chow.
Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Well, there's two Chows. There's two Chows in the there were two Chows in the singles. So
that's you're right. You're right. Look, I'm with you as far as Kelly and Alex being the favorite coming out above top. Although I'm not sleeping on Taiwan, and I saw them with their opening round, in my opinion, upset just because I didn't know who they were, and so and plus there's like a couple of things that are just good like rules of thought. Rule number one is don't bet against Filipinos. Okay, I mean like that's rule A1 at the very top. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll make a lot of money like that. Don't bet against Filipinos. And next to that, probably you shouldn't be betting on anyone against Taiwan either, because whether they're an unknown or known, they're usually pretty stout. So especially if they're coming all this way to go and compete. So, but obviously the Oceans, you're going to go and like them as well up top. Down below, Mike, you got a really interesting combination, which was kind of late to the party in Allison Fisher and Jesus Atencio playing against Han Yu and Januarda from Indonesia. Then you got Christina and Demetrius against who I picked to go deep, Easton and Shaw. Who do you like down there at the bottom, Mike?
There's some good matchups there. I've not seen Christina playing with Lucatis yet, so I don't know what how they're matching up. Jason and Savannah's are really tough. I like Allison and Atencio. They're both out of the singles, so they can focus on this. I don't know.
That's a good point. Wait, but Allison's out of the women's world nineball as well?
I believe so. We'll have to check. We'll see in the next.
We'll see. Well, there's a lot of combinations here that you can go and pick and choose from. Literally, 4 of them. Han Yu is a monster. She's very well decorated, very well seasoned. The combination of playing with this young kid from Indonesia, I'm not sure how it's going to go and fare. Yeah. Obviously, being from the U.S., I'm going to be a lot more favorable on the Allison and Jesus matchup. I love their style of play. I love how fluid they are. I don't think you're going to have to coach one versus another. What's up?
No, I just think it's great that the Venezuelan playing with the Brit has you really excited for the USA.
Oh yeah, I'm. That's why I wore the red, white, and blue. You know what I mean? So it's funny, but it's true for me. But I mean, look, if it was if you're playing overseas, it's a different story. I think comfortability on the table, no one's really going to have that edge because neither really play these too much anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm betting more with my heart here than I am with anything else because logically I can't go and figure out a way where it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. But I'd be rooting for Jesus and Allison. Down below, Christina and Demetrius is really interesting combination. Obviously, Christina is just hitting a different gear over the last couple of years. And so, I don't know how that chemistry is there with Demetrius. Obviously, they must be doing pretty good if they're in this spot. But man, if there's a combination of players that I really want to see do well, it's Jason and Savannah. And maybe just because I like them personally or whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to see them go far and just see how far they can go and take that doubles pairing, Mike, because it's an interesting combination. Complete contrast of styles. They don't have any history of playing together, at least that I can think of, but they got their hands full with Demetrius. Demetrius has won a Pro Billiard Series event. Christina plays really well on these tables historically and in this format, and I don't like if Savannah can be comfortable and be okay with who she is as opposed to deferring too much like we kind of saw between Jonas and Savannah in that last event, then I think it'll be more even. But I got to give the edge there to Christina and Demetrius. So um I'm assuming you're just going to pick and Alex and Kelly to
Sure.
Snap it all. Okay. Shamat says
Easy out.
Happy holidays, fellas. Mike, didn't I ask you to get Marcus on the show?
You did.
Whatever happened with that?
I don't know, Marcus, when you're available.
Yeah. I just put in the word, he said. All right, Mike. Switching over to the women's world 9-ball. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. So this is winner qualification. We'll go through this. Or you want to go through losers first before we go over to winners? They're all happening right now, though. So
what's that? The winners and losers, round 3?
Yeah, so it looks like Sales on TV table against Pia Filler. That's a great matchup. Kelly and Cheska, that's a monster matchup. I want to hurry up and get done so I can go watch that one, Mike.
Yeah.
And then the losers is going on as well, which Allison is still in it. So let's go ahead and start up top, Mike. You got Lu Shasha against, I'm assuming that's Rita Chow, right? Or no, that's not her.
No, that's the other one.
I couldn't even point this girl out in the lineup, Mike.
Cheyu Chow is Rita.
Okay.
She's playing the Turkish player. So, Shasha Lu, yeah, she's serious player. So, I like her a lot. I don't know who the other player is, so it's hard for me to comment on that. Kelly and Cheska, that's going to be a shootout.
Dude, I could not. If just from from the lens of styles, these are probably my two favorite women players, because they're both quick to the trigger. They both execute at an extremely high level, both really well decorated. Obviously, Cheska is a former world champion. Kelly's just been winning everything under the sun over the last 2 months. It seems like. And so I think that could be a final, and I would just love it. Like, give me 5 sets. I'm all in at sweating that thing. You know what I mean? So, that one's super hard to gauge. It's super stacked, and I love it. Like from the beginning, there's been some really amazing matches from the very beginning in this Women's World 9-ball Championship. And I know it's kind of stupid to say because it is a world championship, but man, even from I think it was Rubelin against Sylviana Liu.
Yeah.
I think it's even that one. Then the Sophia versus Jasmine was phenomenal. Savannah should have beat Pia. In that one as well. So it was so many solid matches to start with. I just want to give a big shout out though to those young American girls who were doing damage, Mike. I'm super proud of those two young ladies, Mike, in particular.
Yeah, it's got to be scary for those other, the Jasmines and the Pias to see Sophia and Savannah and then look at them and say, Jesus, they're 15 years old.
They're coming.
They're matching you shot for shot pretty much the whole way. So it's just that comfort level and getting over the hump and making a little better decisions sometimes, which will all come to those, those two by the time they hit 20, forget it.
Yeah. And I like that they're getting the heartbreak out of the way now, because that's a part of it, and I
got to get used to it because it's not going to be the last time either. It's not going to be okay.
Sure.
Hump, I'll never go through that heartbreak again. There's going to be plenty of it. So
but there's been transitions though, Mike, with
it and deal with it and embrace the moment next time instead of shying away from it. That's all experience. That's all experience.
Look, there's been certain seasons in the women's events where it's been the Fishers and everybody else, and we were always talking about when is this next generation of European players going to go and step up to the plate? Because for a long time they just didn't, right? Like they just hadn't. Now we're seeing that with Margaret doing well, Sateva, obviously Christina Tkach, who is a world champion now, right? So like, but they've come from behind into now belonging, right? And we've seen that whether with men players or women players. And I think that for these two young women in particular, in Sophia and Savannah, same thing. They're getting their seasoning in now. They're paying their dues in now. They're already at a level where they can beat anybody. Legitimately, they can beat anybody. I don't care what the format is or whatever. Now, whether they can mentally believe they can beat anyone and go and follow that through into getting these wins is a different story. We saw the heartbreak with Rita Chow and Sophia in the last tournament. Obviously, this heartbreak for Savannah against Pia is going to be sitting with her as well. You know what I mean? But then now look at Sophia, right? She's had strong success in the last women's open event, parlaying that into beating Jasmine. Like if you can beat Jasmine in this type of format, like the sky's the limit, in my opinion, Mike. Legitimately.
And they're at the point now where they can beat anybody. They'll get over this. They'll get over the heartbreak type of losses. Now they got to get to the point where they can beat 2 or 3 of these in a row.
Yeah.
Because to reach the final, the semifinal, that's what you have to do. You can't, you don't get the luxury of beating Jasmine and then playing someone from 24 to 32.
Sure.
You get points of the tournament where you're following up Jasmine with Han Yu, and you're following her up with Rubel and Ahmed, and you have to be able to sustain that level over 2 or 3 matches in a row. And that's kind of the next step.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
They're going to get there, like I said, by the time they turn 20, this is not even going to be a discussion.
Look, this is where like the fan in me just shines through, because I remember seeing these two young ladies at the at junior nationals at South Point years ago, and I remember it was like Savannah's first junior national final against Sophia, ironically enough. So like to see these two young ladies over the last like 4 or 5 years just kind of come into their own, and I always, especially with kids, I have a really hard time like crowning them prematurely because I feel like it's unfair to a lot of extent. You know what I mean? And puts a lot of pressure on them. And it happens in all sports. I mean, we saw Emily go and say AJ is going to be a world champion, which I'd bet 5 years the kid's not going to be a world champion. Not that I don't think he's got the skill set, but it's so hard to be a world champion. You know what I mean? Just where the safer money would be at, but like these two young ladies, I feel like it's coming together at the right time for them, and I'm excited to see what the future is. And they've earned it. They both travel all the time. They play in open events all the time. They play in a lot more women's open events than they do junior events at this point, and clearly it's paying dividends, Mike. So
the fly in the ointment is ambition, and I think they both have aspiration going to college. So
I hope so.
So we'll see what that does. I mean, it's when you start out so intensely and so hard that young, and you turn 20, 21, you've already got 10 years in.
Yeah.
It can be a bit of a grind. I mean,
plus, how much from day to day that your drive and ambition just changes at that age.
Yeah.
And what your interest level is.
But that's all in the future. If they stick with it and keep that drive going, they're going to be as good as as anybody, as good as they want to be.
Yep, that's the thing. As good as they want to be, legitimately. All right, Mike, you got 2-0 Shasha over Chow. Kelly's leading 3-1 in that first set. Pia Filler trails 1-2 over Seau. That's a great matchup as well. Wang Lin and Sophia Mass there at 0-0. Wei Chu Sin against Diana. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce her last name. I've got no idea who she is.
Oh, Javis, she was a great junior player. When they had she was originally from Russia, has lived in Germany for a number of years.
Okay.
And she was on.
Well, that's a Belgian flag, though, that she's representing, right?
No, German. Or no, yeah, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, that's really weird because I thought she was playing for Germany. But
yeah.
But anyways, she played in the Atlantic Challenge Cup some years ago.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, so she's class then. Obviously she's Yeah. If she played in the Atlantic Cup, for those who don't know, that's like the junior Mosconi Cup, right, Mike?
Yeah, that's what it was for 4 years or so. Yeah.
And super tough to get into especially for Europeans.
Oh my God! It
Like,
was
yeah.
Federer, it was Vitali, it was Maxim Dudnay. It was there's some serious players there, and
So
Christina and Diana.
I got a couple of like cool memorabilia things that I just thoroughly enjoy, right? Because obviously I got the office full of stuff here, you know what I mean, and it's a bit I got to clean it up. But anyway, one of the cool things I don't have it in here right now; it's in my closet, but is Federer's jersey from the Atlantic Cup with
Oh,
the
really?
European. Yeah. So, but a lot of great players have gone through there, even on the American side of things. April Larson, Chris Reinhold, Shane Wolford, just to name a few. You know, Justin Bergman, Justin Hall. I mean, it's like it's the who's who of top level talent. Zlateva leads 1-0 against Karuhara. Rita Chow 1-0 against Yulo. That's going to be a great matchup as well. Bean Hung trails Christina Tkach 2-0. Mike, where do you think Christina finishes in this tournament, Mike, out of curiosity, in your opinion?
You know, she's this year has really been kind of an up and down year for her after
True.
last year. But she's certainly obviously she's got the game to do it. Just has lacked some consistency. And this is a tough tournament. If you're lacking consistency because of the short sets and the winner's break, and what she's got to do is fight her way to the last 16 where it gets extended to 5 sets, and then her chances to me go up.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think like survive when you can,
Yeah.
but take care of business whenever you're supposed to take care of business. Like in a match like this, I know Bean Hung is a great player, but I would like Christina to excuse me to win that matchup. It's not going to get any easier though if you're facing Ulil or Rita in the following round. So it's no cake, it's no walk in the park by any means. But look, I root for Christina. She's had heartbreak playing pool, as well as massive success, and like we talked about with these young American junior players, that's a part of the journey, and she's shown her resiliency, her strength and her fortitude, and just being a mental monster, and I hope that she can, um, go very deep in this tournament because I'd love to see her in some monster matchups once it gets to single elimination playing for a world championship, because she obviously knows what it takes to put all the pieces together, because she's been there before. Um, and she knows how to like weather storms along with that, Mike. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she's up 3-0 now over Bean Hung. Down below, Mike, loser round. Allison Fisher leads Linnea Hallstrom 3-0. Margaret Fefalova 2-1 over Sandra Baumgartner. Pearl Chang's up a set, and then Jasmine Ocean is leading 3-0. Mike, are you looking at Allison, Margaret, Pearl, and Jasmine just coming out of up top to survive another round?
Um, you know, I kind of like Jasmine.
Yeah.
Where she's at, and that top half of that losers, round. Well, no, it's not.
Well,
I like Jasmine. I like Margaret, Allison.
Well, they're going to end up having to face each other if things kind of go current par for the course, because Allison would play Margaret, Jasmine would play Pearl.
They would go to losers qualification, so the winner of this match plays the loser of the winner's side, right?
No, not yet. No.
The losers from winners qualification,
89 and 84.
the losers.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Qualification will end up playing the winners from this round.
Okay.
So who knows who she's going to play? She's going to pull.
That's going to be fucking tough. Then there's some good matchups up top, Mike.
Yeah, there's going to be some really good matches in that losers qualification to get into that last 16. That's for sure. So yeah, if you're in that winners qualification match right now, there's a lot to play for.
Yeah, save your ass, because there's some killers in this loser side on the women's, so right. That you don't want to have to draw into until like it's 5 sets. You know what I mean? So you better go and handle your business now on the winner side.
Get your business done in the winners qualification and move on.
Thoroughly agree, Mike. Ashley Benoit from the U.S. trails Amber Chen 2-0 so far. Ropero trails a set against Savannah Easton. There you go. Xiao Feng Fu is 2-2 with Yunmin Lim, and Rubelin against Lee Haran. I don't know who this Haran Lee is, but didn't she had a big win already? Didn't she like against Allison? Was it that she had a comeback win?
Might have been against Allison.
Well, I'm going to be keeping my eye on that one, Mike, because Rubelin was a big. I don't want to say big favorite, but she was a heavy favorite coming into the tournament to go deep. So going out in this spot would be for sure an upset, and by far the biggest one of the tournament for me up until this point, Mike.
Right, would be for sure.
Obviously, I'm rooting for Savannah. I think Amber Chen's going to handle her business. She's a champion in her own right and had success playing on Pro Buried Series women's events in the past. Zhao Fang Fu, I'm going to be sticking with her right there, Mike. And then Rubelin, like I told you, rule number one: if you like your money, don't bet against the Filipinos. I'm going to stick to that, and I'll end up in the green, by the end of it.
Yeah, I go with the same four.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but make sure and keep. Actually, go check out the Pro Buried Series. I think it's Pro Buried TV on YouTube.
Right.
They're streaming, I think, 3 tables, which is great, through a variety of different disciplines all throughout the day. I'm going to be sticking with this tournament, Mike, and sweating all of the Women's World Nineball Championship. But I think what finishes off first? Is it the doubles and then the men's and then women's? Or
yes. Doubles, men's, women's. I believe, unless they did what they've done before is do all the finals on the last. Put all the finals on the same day.
Ooh, I like that idea better, Mike.
Well, not if you're women playing the women's semifinal. You got to go play a team match.
Sure.
I don't think I'm liking that with 50,000 at stake. So the women's semifinals and finals are on Sunday. So let's see what the.
So they'll have their own stage then, because let me see.
That'll be their own stage. Yeah. The men's ends up on Sunday as well, and the doubles ends up on Saturday.
Okay, so doubles will end tomorrow, and then the men's
and the women's on Sunday.
I dig it. Get the men out of the way, though, man. The Women's World Nineball Championship is something super special,
Yeah.
So, are you going to be around this weekend at all, Mike, or no?
Yep. Not tomorrow. I will be here Sunday all day.
All right. Well, if we're going to do something Sunday,
I got to go make ravioli.
Oh, that's right. Look, man, can you send like with some dry ice or something and ship it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I could put a couple aside for you.
There you go. Mike, I'm going to be sweating college football tomorrow in the college football playoff. Actually starting tonight, along with, it'll be like picture in picture, and the audio will for sure be on football. No disrespect to the Pro Buried Series.
I go no audio.
You what?
I go no audio.
Even when you're watching sports like football and baseball?
I'll be watching the Bears and the Packers Saturday night. I don't want to hear what those goofballs on television want to tell me.
Really?
I sit there and scream at the team. I know how to watch football. I know what they're doing. I know who's screwing up.
Who do you like? Okay, let me ask you this: Who do you like in the Bears and Packers? Because you lived in Chicago for forever, and now you're living in Wisconsin.
I live in Wisconsin. I'm from Chicago, dude. That's not even a question. I've told everybody I've met up here, listen, I will root for the Badgers. I will root for the Brewers. I draw the line to football.
Who the fuck are the Badgers?
The Badgers is Wisconsin football.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to pro football, no. If you're a Bear fan, you would never root for the Packers to do anything but go 0-17.
I don't know what the line is. Legitimately, do not know what the line is.
Packers are favored, but the Packers were favored in Denver too.
By what though? Oh yeah, I know. Believe me, I know that one. Hold on, let me see here.
I think about 1.5 points.
You want to bet a little dinner bet on it? Because I'll gladly take the Packers laying a 1.5.
Bears have beaten the Packers 3 times in the last 20 years. It's like betting on Team USA at this point.
Brutal. I love it. All right, listen. On that note, we'll see all you guys. Maybe I'll shoot a show on Sunday. Mike, go enjoy the ravioli. Post some photos of it. My stomach's growling already thinking about it. Go enjoy Women's World Nineball Championship. We'll see all you guys.